DryerBuzz is live with the language of men. If you're coming in, you know, guys, to tap the screen. Let me know you do have sight and sound. I'm only going to be right here for just a few minutes. I'm going to step out the way because what do we do for the language of men? We find a topic, we find some good guys, and we put them in a hot seat. And this one right here is having a little, he's like, whoa, you said we're going to do all this. Thank you so much. 24 Hour Beauty just jumped on. Shout out to 24 Hour Beauty. They are a partner of DryerBuzz for the summer. And so that's why DryerBuzz Live is continuing. Thank you so much, those of you that are on Periscope, jumping in, tap the screen, invite followers so that we can get started. And turn your volume down so that we don't be scoping the scope. And then we go, listen, let me tell y'all, I asked my ladies to show up today, and they have shown up. So after these fellas finish with theirs, look, we got some scoping the scope going on in the room. Okay. It's an amazing story right here behind me. I always put out, what do they call it, a carrying call, or there's a word for it, where you put a challenge out there and see who answers. And so I said, I want the fellas to come in and give me a nice language of men, because we had language of men scheduled on the day, and this turns out to be the memorial for Muhammad Ali. So I want them to talk about what it meant having the greatest as someone to look up to. My guy here is behind Love Beyond Walls, and I want you to hear the story behind that. This one here, he is enjoying the support of Love Beyond Walls, right? And so they're going to give us he's ready to go. Because I told him, you get to come in and interrupt the broadcast. And so amazing conversation is about to happen. I'm going to step out of the way. Somebody's going to time them. They've got, you want 25 minutes. Can you give me 25?
I'll try.
He got a timer, 25 minutes. We usually go 30 minutes, but they're a little nervous. So 25 minutes. Okay, he ain't nervous. He ready to go, y'all, and I'm gonna move. We're gonna let them talk. When I come in, I'm gonna tell them 5-minute warning. They're gonna begin to wrap it up, and then we're gonna give you an after show where the ladies are gonna kind of respond to some of the things the guys are saying, and then we're gonna talk about, because a lot of times you hear people say, I want my Boaz. Well, we have Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? And some of us have personal experiences with Muhammad Ali, and we're gonna talk about that as well. On that note, I'm Yolanda Lattimore, editor of DryerBuzz.com, and this is DryerBuzz, the Scope Show, where people jump from their scope. This one right here ain't never Periscope, y'all. They jump from their scope to my scope, and we have a great conversation. Again, thank you so much for already giving the hearts. Make sure you please like, share, and share the broadcast. And if you can, come on down to Tuya and go.
Well, hi, my name is Shago Williams. I'm from College Park, Georgia. Born in poverty, been in the foster home several times, grew up on the streets, lived in abandoned apartments, houses, been without food, clothes, been in prison for 13 years of my life. I got out of prison recently, joined the ministry at Love Beyond Walls, which helped me tremendously, brought me a long way, helped me get my life back together, and get on a good path, get a good start, and help to do things that I've been wanting to do my whole life, which help people that are in the same situation that I once was in. So I think this experiment is a real good experiment for me, because I get an opportunity and a chance to accomplish those goals that I had set when I was a teenager to do as an adult, and that I'm 32 years old, and I didn't get a chance to see all my teenage years or all my 20s, because I was incarcerated at the time during my 20s and my teen years. But now that I've been out, going on 2 years now, I've been going to Love Beyond Wall for 2 years. I've been working with them as a volunteer for roughly 2-3 months now. And it's been a good work for me, been keeping me focused, been keeping my mind occupied on the right things to do, and keeping my faith real strong with God and the brothers around the community, at the same time providing help for those in the community that don't have help or don't have the materials or minerals to get by on a daily basis. Being at Love Beyond Wall really helped me a whole lot, changed me over. They are helping me accomplish a lot of my goals. They are helping me keep myself together, get my faith together. They are helping me stay on a straight path. And this ministry, Love Beyond Walls, and a whole lot of more people that is behind Love Beyond Walls have open arms, an open heart for all those out there that are in need, that need help, that want to be helped, that want to change their life, and that want to get on a better path. We came a long way. We're trying to build Love Beyond Walls so we can have a love center, so we're going to be able to provide more to the community than what most of them are receiving at this moment. But the love that we are giving them is helping them on a daily basis. They're getting by from day to day with what we are giving them at the ministry at this moment. We'll try to expand the ministry as a whole family, as one, to provide more of things to the people that they really need.
I wanna jump in, man. So, like, I didn't know you 2.5 years ago when I was just starting Love Beyond Walls, and when I started the organization, I actually made myself homeless. I lived in the streets of Atlanta. I had a strong passion to not only advocate for those who were in transition, but to understand life from their perspective. So I took off my shoes, my privileged shoes, right? And I walked in the shoes of those who are disadvantaged. And along that journey, I used my cell phone to start an organization. Had no clue that I would meet you 2 years later after you were getting out of prison. And my whole vision was to take a part of my story, which you probably don't know, that I was facing time in prison, that I was a high school dropout at one point in my life. I overcame a lot of my challenges, went back to college, went on to get multiple graduate degrees and beat the odds. But I wanted to take a piece of my story to literally reach out to brothers who have been abandoned or been ostracized from their family members, didn't have support, and literally become a tangible example for brothers to see that you can overcome statistics and you don't have to succumb to what society says that you are. So fast forwarding, one of the cool things that happened along the way when I met Yolanda is we were doing these demonstrative type campaigns where one campaign, when I met her, I was wearing one outfit for like 90 days. We were raising awareness about Title I school students who literally go to school week in and week out wearing the same outfit every day, maybe 4 or 5 days straight. And then they can't go home and wash them because maybe they don't have running water or maybe they don't have access to washing machines and dryers. And I met her, and we actually won the Awesome Foundation grant where we started building closets in Title I schools for educators to have access to clean clothes, so the kids wouldn't come to school and disconnect from their lessons because they were focused on what they had on during that time. But a little further, we had this church in Madison, Georgia, donate us this 30-passenger bus. And around the same time, I was out. We were working among the homeless, and I met this guy named Leonard. Leonard was a homeless guy at a random gas station about 15 miles away from the nearest shelter in Atlanta. And I got to know his story like I do everybody. He said that he had lost his wife. He was up in age, 60 plus years old, hadn't showered in 2 months, hadn't shaven his face in over 3 months. And I asked him a question. I was like, man, if you had one wish, what would that wish be? He said that he wanted to be made over. You could just see the wear and tear of life, just stripping away all of the dignity that he once had. And with the church donating us the bus, and with that story, we came up with this concept of what if we took this bus and transformed it into a mobile makeover unit where we could provide makeovers on the spot for people who are homeless or in the streets, and restore dignity on the spot, and also use it as a conduit or a vehicle or segue where we can connect people to further resources. So Leonard inspired this, and to launch this campaign, I actually slept on top of the bus for an entire month with the permission of my family and my kids, and raised awareness about the epidemic, but also was really advocating and giving people a voice who were in transition. So speeding through that year, since we launched, United Way stepped up, Channel 11 stepped up. We were able to transform the bus, and then in a year we've reached over 2,000 people. And here recently, you've become like one of the makeovers, man. We met a couple years ago. You've been working with the organization as like the donation coordinator for the last few months. And man, we've just seen tremendous change in you. One of the goals that you've had was you wanted to own your very first laptop. You came in, you told me your story. You was like, man, I did 13 years. You missed your entire 20s. And we're around the same age. I'm 33, 32. And that really touched me because you didn't want a handout. You literally wanted to work for it. You wanted to volunteer. You wanted to give back to the community. And that just, that, you know, for me, it's like, that does something to me because it speaks about the worth and the value that you have as an individual. And it also speaks to your potential and what was kind of lost during this 13-year period. I mean, you made a dumb mistake when you were 17 years old and it cost you some time, but now you're trying to collect the pieces back to your life. We set another goal that you never had a license before. So our organization is thinking about how we can come alongside you and put you through driving school so you can learn how to drive a vehicle and be able to maneuver so you can start to collect back some of the pieces that were taken. I mean, how do you feel about that, man? I mean, I get really excited and emotional at the same time.
I'm very excited at the same time. I am emotional because at the tender age of 17, a whole lot was taken away from me. You know, I have lost three grandmothers that raised me. All three died while I was incarcerated. Wasn't able to go to their funeral. Still ain't been able to go to their grave site. My mother, who was in and out the hospital, and that's in me, but I'm fighting that. So I'm really just, it hurt me bad, but at the same time, I'm trying to catch up with the life that I never had a chance to live. You know, a whole lot of people in the community helped me, so right now my mind and my heart and my passion is focused on giving back to the community for what they gave to me before I made a mistake and went to prison at the age of 17. You know, I thank God, Allah, for everything that He did, all the good people that He brought into my life to help me and to keep me on the continued path that I am on. And I really appreciate everybody at Love Beyond the Wall for everything that they have done for me too, as well. Because if it weren't for Love Beyond the Wall, I really don't know where I would be at this moment.
Yeah, one of the cool things that I guess I like to observe from you is like how the community has embraced you, but also it's kind of helped you to develop socially. Like to see you interact with other volunteers that come to our organization has been tremendous. To see how you love on people in the community, even when you're dealing with your own brokenness, is amazing. And just to see like how excited you get about the possibilities of people not only coming alongside our organization, but coming alongside you. You know, it's about the work that we do, but it's most importantly about giving you a platform to speak, to have your voice, to be heard, and to give people a deeper insight as to what like people go through. Like, and that's one of the things that we kind of really harp on from our organization is just like everybody has a story, and you don't know that person's story until you know that person, and you can't really meet the needs of a person until you forge the relationship. And I love the fact that we are able to build relationships, like authentic relationships. Like, I don't see you as a project, you know, you're my brother, you know,
right.
And you've become a friend. And I just, you know, my heart is to come alongside you and just to help you continue to develop.
Got a couple questions for you guys. You guys, thanks so much for watching and really engaging. People are really putting it in. May Allah, was it Grant Muhammad Ali having it? Okay, thank you so much for watching. Then watching the Muhammad Ali. I just saw pictures of you on Instagram. There was a before and after. before, what was the before picture? What were you in that moment? And then what was the after? And what's the reaction to you now after that? What was going on? Why?
The before picture.
The before picture.
I twisted my hair up because I really got tired of spending $45 every week on my haircut and getting a shave.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually I was gonna get a cut regardless of what, because I don't really let my hair grow out through the winter anyway. I cut my hair out before the winter get here. In the summer, springtime is where I let my hair just grow back out. But I really love haircuts anyway. I love keeping a low haircut. I mostly love military haircuts. My whole family militant, so I just try.
What was the reaction to people to the before guy, and is there a difference reaction to you now?
They were surprised that I cut my hair, because a lot of people didn't believe that I was going to actually cut my hair. I've been talking about cutting my hair for as long as I never got around to cutting it, and I finally got a chance with the help of Mr. Terrence and got my hair cut. So it really shocked a lot of people in the community to see me with a haircut. But everybody,
seeing that guy.
yeah, they were more than happy to see me with the. They were mostly to see me with the dreads.
They give you the double take, like.
Yeah, they do.
Okay,
They do.
yeah,
They do. Because they surprised that I cut the dreads off, because nobody expected me to cut my dreads off again. But it's
Let
time.
me ask you this too. You said how many years did you serve?
I did 13 years.
In that 13 years, you were missing from your family, missing from your community. What is the mindset of that? Do you feel like people, because there's so many that are missing from community, do you feel like, do you wish that kind of people would stop and notice that there's so many people who are not with us because they're serving time? Is there something we don't get about the serving time?
And yes, I really do, because a lot of families that have loved ones inside the Georgia Department of Correction, the government is not really focused on them, and some of their families not putting pressure on the Department of Correction. Because being in prison is a very dangerous ground and a very dangerous game to be playing with. That is no kitty count, there's no child count. You go to prison, you have to be a man. You have to stand
You
up.
went at the age of?
Went at the age of 17.
And what, do you mind me asking why or how, what happened?
I was hanging around the wrong crowd at the wrong time. And I got caught up. I wanted to tell on what they did, so they gave me 13. They gave them life without parole.
How much time did you serve?
I did the whole 13.
In Georgia or outside?
In Georgia.
So you're in prison in Georgia, and your family's in Georgia.
I have family throughout the whole country.
Okay.
But my family here in Georgia, the only ones who've been there for me during my time incarcerated is my sister Keisha, which is my big sister, which Mr. Tanner had a chance to see. My mother, which I don't think he had a chance to see yet, but I'm gonna make sure he get a chance to see her so he can talk to her, because she's very strong on religion as well. They're the only two who really stayed down with me for my entire 13 years. So those are the two that I mostly give my much dedication and love to as much as possible as I can. But they were there for me during my whole time in prison.
And what about your family going? So you had to go on trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Or did you take a plea or something like that?
I went to trial.
You went to trial, so your family had to endure that with you. And there are a lot of families out there that have to endure that, and we don't know. You know, you always say, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, but you never know until your child is in that predicament. You know,
Right.
What is it that you think the community? Because you have to go to the community and convey to the community the sense of urgency in us getting involved in serving our community. What is it? Your biggest difficulty, do you think?
Yeah, I would say margin, right?
Meaning?
Margin in terms of people not having adequate time. Like, we give ourselves to so many other things that kind of like fill up our calendars, or
And they put
take
tell
this.
you they don't have enough time for
yeah.
what you're doing. Yeah.
And I mean, if you really think about it, like, most of our calendars are like me focused, it's me centered, and I think people should reorganize their plates, what's on their plates, and create enough space and opportunity to see, to be aware to understand what's going on in the community. It's like a friend told me one time that he was driving in his car and he had his 12-year-old daughter in the back seat that had the music going. Everybody was on their cell phones except him because he was driving. And all of a sudden his daughter starts crying in the back seat. And he turns around, everybody's looking at her like, what's going on or whatever. Come to find out, they were at a red light and she saw a mother and her child standing at the red light holding a sign saying, we need food. We've been out here for over a month. And she, in that quick moment, she had time enough to process that.
And we don't realize
and to connect
processing that.
And most of us are so disconnected to the things around us that we can't become aware of what's going on, and that's because of margin. I mean, we're overspent, especially with what we give ourselves to. So one of the things that I try to convey people to do is reprioritize and put stuff at the top of your list so you can be included and given to those things that really matter, like lives like this. Because at the end of the day, like some of the stuff, we can't take it with us. We don't see a U-Haul truck hooked onto a back of a hearse.
Exactly.
And what really matters is what we're investing in the lives of other people. Yeah.
And talk about that because you said a church donated the bus to you.
Yeah, yeah.
You then had to find the resources to convert this. But the fact that you wanted to convert a bus, that you would go around and help people in gathering and conveying to Atlanta that this was your dream to do this. You spent time living on top of this bus. Take us through that.
Yeah, when we first got it, we were we try to operate from a servant leadership model, and servant leadership is not a popular leadership style. If you Google it, it probably won't even come up. You have to search for it. But in a part of that, we operate from the shoe wearing philosophy. What does it mean to take off your shoes and be daring enough to put on somebody else's? And was saying that my wife and I were thinking about how could we convey this to the general public, but use our lives as a bridge for them to connect to the story. And we were sitting around a table with a friend named Dave. He was the lead designer on a bus project, and we were brainstorming of how. And I came to this frustrating point. I was just like, I don't know what I'll do. What would I do? Live on it? On top of it? And my wife spoke up. She was like, yeah, that's exactly what you should do. We'll support you. And then from there, we decided how many days, and we figured a month because a month is symbolic of how many makeovers we can provide in a month. So I lived as a homeless person on top of this bus to raise awareness about it by using digital platforms, social media, obviously, to communicate not only what we wanted to do, but people sometimes don't connect to stories until they actually see somebody they know living through it.
Exactly.
So what I was trying to do with that is lay down my life so people could see clearly the people that I wanted to serve.
What did you learn during that time? And we got a question for you as well. You probably saw it on the screen, right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in this work, man, it's very hard. I learned that it's not about education. It's not about who you know. It's not about where you were raised. It's not about your talent and skill. The only thing that will keep you from quitting is grit and resilience and faith. And I think those things were reinforced during my time up there because it was a lot of isolating time. It's a lot of time where I had a cool story. So I like Otis Moss. He pastors Trinity out in Chicago.
Right.
We had people dropping off resources to the bus. And one of the persons that were following us online, she's from Chicago, was just in Atlanta. She came to drop off resources. Come to find out, she was on staff at Trinity. And I had just listened to his sermon like 2 days before when I was thinking about giving it up. And it encouraged me to go on. But long story short, she got him on the phone. And he heard about it out in Chicago and was able to kind of talk with me via the phone. So it's like perseverance and keeping the mission at the center of what we do,
Right.
which is people's lives being transformed.
Well, let me ask you now. You hear him say he made that kind of sacrifice. He mentioned a little bit of isolation. I watched your face when he said isolation. You think, bro, you don't know what isolation really is. Question for you that popped up on the screen. People asking, how is it to we hear all the time, because it's a buzzword now, help people re-enter.
Yeah.
Okay? And they want to know, how is it for you to re-enter society after you've been gone? You talked about wanting to have a laptop, wanting to learn how to drive, because going to prison at 17, you missed out on a lot of that. So they want to know, what was it like to really enter society? Now, how long have you re-entered into society?
Well, it really wasn't no problem for me because while I was doing my 13 years, I would rehabilitate myself. I wouldn't allow them to rehabilitate me. I would rehabilitate myself. I was in the library. I was learning everything I could about law, about criminal justice, about the government, to rehabilitate myself so I can know the things that I didn't know at the age of 17. I've been on the streets now for 2 years, going on 3. Next year will be 3 years I've been out of prison.
Wow.
And I've been doing good, real good, because of the things that I taught myself while I was incarcerated.
And the connection you had while you're out.
Yeah, in my connections, and then I have connections inside of the justice system as well. I have district attorneys and jury members and judges working with me at the same time.
So what's your best advice you would give?
My best advice that I can give to anyone that's on the streets thinking it's okay, thinking it's good, it's not good, it's not safe. It can only get you 1 or 2 places in prison for the rest of your life, or 13 or dead.
Wow.
I have been through all that, from being gang related, from being shot, from being robbed, from being kidnapped. I've been through all the type of lifestyles.
What do you say? Because a lot of times when I hear people say that they ended up in the system or they did this and that, they thought what was at home was bad until they realized what's in the street and what's in the prison is bad. Explain that. How do you convey to a kid, this is good? Okay,
Yeah.
It might not be, you might not be doing what you want to do or have, because there's a judge that comes on Periscope. There's a man 62 years old and still trying to justify that lie. How do you convey? It's like, no, we might have hard, we might not have the best thing, we might not have what we want, but this is pretty good. Freedom is pretty good.
Well, me, I say everything at home was good because there was a lot of people that were giving me good advice. It was just the crowd that I was involved with had pulled me away from those people so far that it was like whatever they said went in one ear, not the other. Whatever this crowd said went in and stayed in. So I ignored the good advice and took heed to the bad advice. It's being around people is all about the people that you associate yourself with. If you associate yourself with people who only know to do evil, crimes and stuff, that's what you're going to end up doing, the same thing that they're doing. If you associate your people around people that's out to help people, give to people, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to follow in their step. And growing up, I followed in the negative. So I ended up being involved in negative, would land me in 13 years in prison, which I regret every single day of that.
And 3 years out. So where from here? Where do you guys go from here? Organization.
Okay.
You personally.
Yeah. So we have a campaign coming up that is called MAP 16. And MAP 16 it stands for the March Against Poverty. One of the things that I've found out over the last 12 years of just really serving the community is that poverty creates a lot of the systemic issues that we're all trying to address, whether it's homelessness, crime, food insecurity, joblessness, the lack of housing. It really robs community, especially in urban sectors, and strips people of it's their dignity. And on the local level, we want to create a resource center focused on the southwest side of Atlanta, which there are a lot of resources out there for people. And this resource center would basically be a holistic center that will be able to meet multiple needs of individuals at one time. So like on Fridays, we normally serve anywhere from 100 to 120 families that are food insecure, ranging from elderly people who at the end of the month only living off of $100 to single moms who have to walk 2 miles to our office just for groceries. Wow. And if we discover that someone needs counseling and we refer them out, well, that creates a barrier because, okay, now I have to walk back home. I have to drop off these groceries. What if I don't have resources to get on public transportation, so on and so forth? So by creating this love center that comprises all of those different elements, it's counseling center, it's a free wash house, it's temporary housing, it's all of these different elements. We will be able to serve the total person right there, remove all of the barriers to help them climb out of the poverty ditch. So by doing this, during election time, I'm actually going to walk on foot to raise awareness about poverty.
You ready to walk to what, D.C.?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Shago's walking with me. It'll be
You walking to D.C. with him?
Yep, 648-mile trek. We're going to turn this into a film, documentary film about poverty in America. Tavis Smiley, Cornell West, some of my favorite guys, they write in their book, The Rich and the Rest of Us, that 1 out of 2 Americans are actually either living in poverty or near poverty. And when you look at those numbers, it's half the country. But sometimes when we see the numbers, we don't know how that fleshes out. Well, it fleshes out just like this morning when a person came in to the driveway to get food, elderly couple, and their car broke down in our parking lot. You know, it fleshes out when a homeless person walks to our office barefoot, or we hear the story about a mother fleeing from domestic violence with their children, and now they need clothes for their kids to go to school. We see those types of stories all the time, and what we want to do with this campaign is elevate stories over stats. And that's what we're doing, and we're also raising awareness about what we want to do on a local level to address poverty here in Atlanta.
Wow, amazing. So, when do you take off for the walk?
Yeah, it's going to be August the 20th. That'll be the send-off. You're invited to come out.
We'd love to come.
We're gonna start right in our office at College Park.
How many are walking with you guys?
It's 3 of us traveling. It's going to take a little over 2 months to complete.
Yeah. I've had another organization walk from Florida 2 years ago for education.
Yeah.
So it is an impactful thing. So you got Periscope.
I'll get one.
I have Snapchat.
You got a
I have
Periscope.
Snapchat.
Yeah. So we can
I'll
keep
get
up where
Periscope
you
too.
guys are and so forth.
Yeah, we'll have a website. It'll have a drop pin on the website. Have everything mapped out. We have about 12 partners so far.
Okay.
We're hoping the DryerBuzz comes on as a media partner as well. But we're making headway. We're about 70 days away.
Wow.
So we got a lot of planning. Yeah.
All right. And where to for you?
Me, I'm gonna do the walk. Could it be my first time being in D.C.?
Have you traveled? Have you done any traveling?
I have, but all my traveling were from Chicago to St. Louis, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Miami, Daytona, California, Arizona.
Was that a mission of yours to get out and to see?
Well, me personally, I love traveling. I love to see a lot of new things. I love to meet a lot of new people. You know, me personally, I'm the type of person, I don't judge no one by what no one tell me of that person. I judge by action alone. Because it's the heart that counts. It ain't whatever on the outside.
I told you guys when we started, it would not be hard to have that conversation. You guys have done an amazing job. I didn't do the 5-minute warning because you did a great job. So just tell people how to follow you, how to get involved.
Yeah. Everything Love Beyond Walls. That's our Facebook, our Twitter handle, YouTube station, and our Instagram, and also Snapchat. And when I leave here, I'm going to set up Periscope.
Awesome, thank you. Awesome. All right, guys, we're going to stop and we're going gonna do a little bit of after scope. The ladies have got questions, and we said we would do the language of women coming. Ladies, if we want to follow this. We want to follow this, so I see all the Facebook comments. I wasn't able to see the comments. Look, before they go, okay, let me make sure that we got all the comments answered. I think we do. Okay. Thank you, guys. Listen, guys, you have the power of sharing. The conversation that just took place here, when I press stop, please press share. Tag people. One of the things you can do is tag news, and they want to spread the buzz on what's going to happen. So please tag and share. All right, we'll be right back. Guess what's coming up next? The next scope is going to be called the language of women. So we're going to flip the cameras around. In fact, I can flip around here and put you ladies on the end of this one. Say hello, ladies. Hello. All right, as you can see, the ladies are over there. So we're going to stop and we're going to restart. So we'll do that on Facebook. And then, of course, Periscope, you know, y'all ain't forgot Periscope. The ladies are over there. And we're going to just do a little bit of a brief break here. The Muhammad Ali, this is dedicated to Muhammad Ali. The memorial is taking place. They are right now driving through the city of, what is it? St. Louis, Kentucky. St. Louis, right, you want to say Kentucky. Why do I want to say Kentucky?
Because we talked about Kentucky.
Okay. All right. So we're going to let everybody network a little bit. Cindy Rally Cakes has got some cupcakes over there. She'll be here for a pop-up tomorrow. Community Bean has got a coffee station. Sharon Mossy Brown has got a wine tasting tonight. So, in fact, while I got you on, let me get a test shot for my ladies here. We're going to bring the cameras over
You want to have something here.
Yes, ma'am.
Whatever, let me know.
and down. So let me switch.